Yes, probably.
When Layla Aziz moved back to San Diego, she wondered where the people she grew up with went. She discovered a few were convicted of murder during a robbery, something called felony murder special circumstances. Even if they didn't commit the murder, if they were part of the robbery, it was life without parole, a sentence to die in prison.
How do you get a death sentence if you didn't kill anyone?
California laws recently changed. People can now appeal for resentencing if they weren't the actual killer, or if they can prove racial bias in their case. So Aziz filed a public records request for all robbery murder cases with defendants between 18 and 25 years old at the time of the crime. She chose that because before 25, the decision-making part of the brain hasn't fully developed. All under Paul Pfingst, San Diego's district attorney from 1995 to 2003. Similar cases, apples to apples. She found many white defendants who could have been charged with special circumstances never were, or were given plea deals for lesser charges. Some cases were missing.
And that's when we realized we're not going to get the data just from the DA. We're going to have to dig.
By we, she means the nonprofit she runs, Pillars of the Community. They analyzed mass amounts of data, filed more records requests, visited courts, combed through archives. KPBS did the same. A clear pattern emerged. 13 out of 15 white defendants in robbery murder cases, killers and non-killers, were given the chance at parole, including one convicted of brutally murdering a Latino man. A witness said he bragged about earning his bolts, a common white supremacist tattoo. 11 out of 12 Black defendants, killers and non-killers, were given life without parole.
When you're looking at people, not even numbers anymore, I know all of their names by heart. When you're looking at people and you see them treated differently by the same exact system, you're like, separate but equal? Plessy versus Ferguson, Jim Crow, it all feels the same.
The data show it wasn't one problem judge, one overeager attorney, or even prior convictions. It was a racial pattern. Aziz traces a line from life without parole sentences to lynching trees.
We called it strange fruit because it reminded us of where we were 50, 60 years ago and where we said as a country we were not going to go back to.
This is brought to you by Pillars of the Community.
Pillars decided to hold what they call a people's tribunal.
To charge the district attorney the way they charge us, to subpoena the district attorney the way they subpoena us.
On a late January night, they put the current district attorney on mock trial. It was standing room only. Enlarged mugshots bordered the room.
Every single person has the same exact crime. Every single one of them. Look around the room.
Aziz pointed to a Black man's mugshot.
That's a non-killer. Death or parole? Death.
Then to a white man's mugshot.
That man went to a jury and never had the fear of getting a death sentence because the DA doesn't even charge white folks like they charge us all the time. Why is that?
A lone representative from the DA addressed the room, Frank Jackson.
How did this happen? The answer to your question is, I don't know that answer, so I'm not going to make it up. That happened in, I think most of these look like the 1998s and 2000s.
A district attorney spokesperson told KPBS the current office takes equal justice seriously. Quote, to suggest otherwise is reckless. They would not respond to any of KPBS's questions. Aziz won't let them off the hook because the district attorney has the power now to re-sentence these cases from life without parole to life with parole.
But she has chosen not to do it. So you can't fight to uphold Paul Pfingst's legacy of foundational racism and then say it was before your time.
Pfingst didn't respond to KPBS.
No one else should get a life without parole sentence between the ages of 18 through 25 until they figure out what's going on here.
At the People's Tribunal, they called witnesses, including Linda Whitley. Her son's mugshot was in the room. She asked Aziz to hold up what she sees as proof he's changed, college degrees he earned in prison.
Here's his Bachelor's of Art in Communication But Marquel is deemed to die in prison. He could never be rehabilitated. He could never be redeemed.
His court process was hard for her.
It was terrible because I didn't understand a lot of stuff they were saying.
Whitley was never taught to read. She doesn't fully understand the word parole. She just knows some people get to come home, and her son can't.
I know he can show the world now. He could be a better person now.
You have a prepaid call from
Marquel Smith. When I first came to prison,
Tomorrow, we'll hear his story, how it represents thousands of others, and what could be done to bring him home. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.